we're going to take a look at some types of homes that you may encounter in your home search that we're about to do. So, single family, multifamily, and condo are three of the types of homes that you may encounter. I want to make sure you know what each of those are. So, a single family home is what you usually think of as a house. So it's something that's your own responsibility that the owner has to deal with themselves, but there aren't usually specific rules or things beyond what the town requires. And so they're usually detached homes, but sometimes they could be townhouses. So that's a detached home, and here's a townhouse where it's in a row that's not detached, just so you know those terms as well. But a single family, the idea is one family in general lives in that home. In contrast, a multifamily is where one home is set up to have separate units for multiple families to live in. So in Boston, it could be pretty common to have that triple decker where there's three different families on each floor, or maybe somebody has two floors or something like that. It's also pretty reasonable to have a duplex, so that's where two families share a home. But in general, the idea is that there's one owner for the whole home, so it costs a bit more, but then they can actually rent out parts of that to other families. So even though they own the entire home, they also get some revenue for that. And then we've got a condo. Now, notice I used that same picture for the triple decker. That's because in Boston, actually in the early 2000s, a lot of those homes got converted, or some of those homes got converted to condos. But condos essentially are an apartment. So you could have a condo in a big apartment building. It's short for condominium. So you could have it in a big apartment building or a smaller building. But either way, the idea is that the purchaser, the owner of that home, has a unit to themselves that is theirs, but the communal space has some kinds of fees associated with it. So everybody who owns the condo pays into a fund, and then from that fund, that's how they do the upkeep on the home. So there are some rules and regulations associated with it, but you don't have to necessarily worry about things all yourself. It's not your own responsibility. Usually there's this association that deals with all of the upkeep of a home. Um, so it's like an apartment, but it's a kind that you can own. So again, single family homes, that's like its own house. Multifamily, where there's multiple units, but you own the whole thing. Or condo, where you own just a part of it. There are lots of other types of homes, but these are three of the main types of homes you can purchase in different places across the country. And especially in Boston, these are some of the options that exist.